members ready? Okay. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Kaiser City Council on a work session. It is Monday, January 2026. And as a city recorder, so please call roll.
Counselor Parsons?
Here.
Counselor Cross?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Starr?
Here.
Counselor Christopher?
Here.
Counselor Drian?
Here.
Counselor Kohler?
Here.
Thank you very much. Our discussion tonight is going to revolve around two items, that is the city council goals. And then looking at the report out from the strategic plan review. So the city council goals are adopted for the biennium. However, this is halfway through. And what we began to do a few years ago was do a check-in, rather than just a report from the city manager, but to be able to discuss them, make sure that we're on the same page, and to see if we need to make any course adjustments or additions, etc. in this conversation. So with that, I will turn it over to the city manager Brown to walk us through the PowerPoint on our current goals.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. And I was actually hoping if I could start with a correction from last Monday. Councilor Cross had asked about the citizen survey, the community survey. And I said that you were going to get 2,000 responses, but I went and fact checked that and that was wrong. So I wanted to make sure to put that on the record. They're going to mail to 3,000 homes. The expected 10 to 15% response, which is 384, well, it's a little over 400. And that gives you a confidence interval of 95%. Really for any population between 10 and a million. So whatever numbers get added on to by the snowball survey that when we push out on social media and share with your friends and things like that get added to that. But if they get the 400 responses that they're looking for from that randomized sample, that's generally considered good for a 95% confidence interval, which means it could be within 5% either way of what the outcome. So it's somebody's, if the answer comes back 50% say that they love living in Kaiser, it's a 5% error on that, which would be 2.5% either way. So I just want to put that out there because I put out some bad information to Council Cross. So.
Thank you for that clarification. And with that,
Okay.
Right into our council goals.
We'll jump in. So, as the mayor said, this is, in the charter, you set, according to charter, you set 2-year goals. So start of a new cohort with the city council, you set goals, which we did last year around this time. And, it's for the 2 years that this city council is, together. And then after the elections, you set a new 2-year goals. Lacking a strategic plan, this is what's been the staff guidance for a very long time, a long practice of doing this. So what I'm going to do tonight is walk through the let's see. Go ahead and advance.
Okay.
Here. Okay, we're good. So this is a list of them. We'll walk through each one of them and give you an update on the progress where we're at with each one of them. And then after that, we'll go into the strategic plan, which is will be part 2 of tonight's exercise. So starting off, the first one was urban growth boundary goal, and the goal for the 2-year cohort was to hold 2 town hall meetings and conduct a survey online. And then the council review the feedback from those, the online survey and the 2 town hall meetings. And that work session has been bumped for multiple reasons for other higher priority work session, so. The remaining item to do is to have a work session to review the survey results and the town hall results. And then for the council to discuss where we're gonna go next with or UGB discussion.
Councilor Christopher?
Thank you. So I just wanted to make a comment tonight because there was a Facebook post that was sent out by Bob Bush, and he's in the audience tonight. And I'm gonna read it.
I copied and pasted, it wasn't my post.
Oh, I'm sorry, your name is on it. So I was glad that you were here. I want to read this specifically because it's a poke for me. So I want to make sure that I address that. And what it says is, Lori Christopher has been leading the charge with support from Mayor Julie Hoy on talks of expanding Kaiser's UGB, as it would greatly benefit developers and realtors. Really, what Lori Christopher has been doing was wanting to push the conversation forward, have more input from the community, and let the community decide. If the community decides that they don't want to expand the UGB, then we won't expand the UGB. If they decide that they do want to, I mean, we'll give it a go, but it's a Gordian knot. And I'm not positive that in the state of the state, that is even gonna be possible. I would go on to say, the neighborhood that I'm most concerned about without UGB expansion is the Southeast Kaiser Neighborhood Association. And the reason is obvious. This is our oldest neighborhood. It has wonderful old time lots. Remember those? When they were 8,000 to 10,000 square feet. There are many of those left. And they're mostly in Southeast Kaiser. All of the new building, they're closer together. So today I drove one block down Alder. And just in that one block drive, there are, you can see, and I'm happy to pass these out, huge lots. And what will happen is, and I'm not a subject matter expert on this by any means. But what will happen is, are these little developments of, what would you say, 24 to 28 apartments that are going to be interspersed in that Southeast Kaiser neighborhood, because that's the only land that's available. That's all we have left in Kaiser. I don't know how the community feels about that. I don't know if they think that's a good idea. I don't know if they think it's a bad idea. But that's, well, here's a builder. Mr. Builder, what would you say?
Yeah, that's what I would say is that.
Just responding to this.
I understand.
And the other thing it says is they will be given a chance, Kaiser needs your voice, and they would be given a chance to speak. Is that accurate? Because I
So,
think it's good.
yeah, I'd like to kind of back the train up a bit. Thank you for bringing that to people's attention. That was on social media. And we will be having conversations on urban growth boundary. We do have a large attendance, and what I'd like to do
I
is
know.
make sure that if we have questions on this particular goal, and if you want to make sure that something is included in the next steps, to, let's go ahead and put it into the bullet points that we covered that in the, town halls. If we get into an in-depth conversation on each of these, I think we could be here probably until midnight. I
But Mayor,
appreciate the concern.
they promoted that they would have an opportunity to speak.
All right, we don't have public comment, as part of the work session tonight for that clarification. Is that what you're asking me to do?
Mhm.
Clarify? Yes, this is a work session that we
There
were
were some-
going to be.
There were a lot of incorrect facts, but here we are.
So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Councilor Grant, did you have anything to add, or do you want to make sure we put something in the next steps, and I'll go to Councilor Fox? Thank you.
I just wanted to let people know that this really is something, since we're gonna be talking about this in the future, this is something that does concern me, is it's not only those empty lots that are built up. The older houses are being sold and they're apartments, that it's just, what the developers are gonna do, because that's all it is for them. So I just wanted people to understand that, and when we go to talk about that.
So we can talk about the housing types, and there's a lot of rules that are going to be entrained, that is. Councilor Duran, you're well aware of, the planning commission, will be grappling with the new 430 pages of rules. That just passed, so buckle up, everybody. We've got a lot of conversations that will be happening. UGB and housing supply. So can we add, and I'll come to Councilor Cross. On the next steps, can we add a bullet point with a special emphasis on housing? The housing, what do we call it now? Not housing needs analysis anymore. It has a new name, Mr. Witham.
It's called a housing capacity analysis and a housing production strategy, which by statute, the city will be required to adopt an updated HCA and HPS for the housing capacity analysis, housing production strategy in 2028 and 2029.
So if we start those conversations now, understanding what the parameters are, we'll be better prepared for those conversations. Would that make some sense? If everybody agrees to add that bullet point, with that emphasis on our housing capacity analysis conversation. So it's part of the UGB, also larger part of the conversation for community, base, both internal and external. What's your thoughts? Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Yeah, I do not, I just wanted to go on the record by saying, I believe that this meeting do not go past 9 p.m. because that's a proven limit. And I do not believe that there's anywhere on record that says that no Julie Holden has been, but I think it's that I'm not, so I would just want to be supportive of our friends.
All right. Anything else on urban growth boundary, understanding our next steps, that our goal for this calendar year is to get the work session scheduled, to go over what we learned last year, and then determine our next steps and include information about our housing capacity analysis conversation relative to our own portion of the UGB, but as the way the state looks at it, we are considered part of the larger Salem Kaiser UGB, and that has to enter into our calculations. Is that acceptable to the group? Councilor Kohler, I can't see you, so either sing out or if you have a question or comment on this one.
You can't see me?
No,
Oh.
all I can see on the screen is the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Did you have any questions or comments on this first item?
Well, I just think it's a very, very important discussion to have, and we need to have it. So there you go.
Okay. Agreed. Well, at the top of the order. Mr. Brown.
And if the council's inclined, if we have a light agenda for a regular council meeting, that presentation is ready to come, so we could mold that into a meeting. If we come and say, oh, we only have 2 or 3 items on this, a regular meeting agenda, so that we don't have to have a special.
More results.
Yeah. There will be a result.
Okay, so you should be.
But keep an eye out. If we have a light agenda,
We've got a number of items that we've already made note for scheduling work sessions, so I know Ms. Bissell will help us keep track so we can get them slotted in. But we're pretty much booked through the end of May at this point, if I remember correctly. With already established topics, so we might have to do a separate work session tonight. Yes.
I would just, yeah, suggesting, yeah, if we have a regular meeting that is very light, yeah, we can throw it in that.
Okay, that's what we're talking
That
about.
counts it.
And what we can do
Minimal.
is split that up into our city council meeting and then join into a work session on that.
Yeah.
So it'll be separate and apart and clear. So let's keep those options open as we look at our work plan. Good idea. All right, next up.
Okay, so next one is the transportation system plan. And right now, we have been funded. The contract is with the Department of Justice. Awaiting approval for that. And so then we can get going. That is a long process, probably. My experience is 12 to 18 months. Does that sound right, Mr.
I
Williams?
think it's scheduled for 18 months to 24. 18 to
Okay.
24 is kind of what the standard is, hopefully quicker, but it is a big process.
Yeah.
So as we get close, for what I'm hearing is that for the short-term goal, it's to get that plan going, to appoint the work group that will be conducting that, lay the groundwork for this work to be conducted. Is that pretty much what we can accomplish by the end of this calendar year?
That's right. Yeah, that was the plan, is to get it kicked off.
Okay, so kick off by the end of the year. Because I want to make sure that we're clear on expectations for ourselves, but also for our staff members and our community.
Yeah.
Good with that one?
So we should be able to meet that target.
Okay, excellent. You'll keep.
And then the emergency operations plan was, we had the professional review completed by the contractors, consultants from Marion County. We really appreciate that support that we had from them. And now our, next task is to get the emergency planning committee together and to review the edits made to it. And we would hope to get that scheduled in either late February or March. And so that should be on target to complete that approval update.
Questions on this one? Okay, Councilor Fuller, any questions on the TSP or the emergency operation plan?
No, ma'am.
All right. So the goal is then to have this adopted this calendar year. All right.
The next one is the Parks Master Plan revision. And again, you set the public meeting for February 23rd last week. So that should culminate the data gathering. And then recommendation will probably go back to Parks Board again. And they'll make a recommendation to the city council. So we should be on track to complete that this year.
Okay. So that will be completed before the end of the calendar year. Was there any more steps that people want to see in there before it goes to town hall, Parks Board, council? Check that box.
When was the town hall?
February 23rd.
Oh, so that, sorry.
That's good.
Okay, and I've seen some social media starting to go out, so we'll make sure we do updates on that. For the outreach on social media. All right,
Okay, and this is just an amazing project that I think reflects the Kaiser spirit. The Gold Star Family Memorial. All of you at the dais were involved in some way or another, either planning or hosting fundraisers, so it's amazing. I took this picture from Matt Lawyer with his permission from last week, and then he just puts them up today with the flags flying. And so very, very exciting. And February 7th, ribbon cutting. And it just astounds me that he put this idea out there a year and a half ago, and we are cutting the ribbon. So amazing.
all right, any questions on that one? 11 a.m. February 7th. Everybody's invited. Any questions?
Big shout out to Mark County, Matt Lawyer, Matt's family. And
Jeff Anderson
Tim Berry, Jeff Anderson, yeah.
and Kevin Dial.
Yeah.
Kaiser Satellite. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, the
awesome.
Satellite Board, he's done an amazing job out there.
And some
Okay.
of our city staff, our public works people.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
The discount program for under 60 and in need. Tim is hoping to bring that to the council in February or March. So he has the backbone of the program put together for that.
Good.
We should be on track to finish that. The sidewalk gap program is coming along. We are in the process of putting the program and application materials together. We'll have funding for it in the 2020 to 27 fiscal year from the street fund. And we had talked about $200,000 seed funding with the Verta project. No, Mr. Lawyer, we originally thought that we would not have some of the extra money we had budgeted away to be able to come back to the city until after it was finished, but he did receive some indication we might be able to get some of that back earlier. So the size of that program could vary, or you can go with the $200,000 this year and see how it goes and, increase it if needed the next year.
Councilor Christopher.
But didn't we adopt 100,000 a year? Did we?
We had said that we would take $100,000 from the sale of one of our properties and try to fund it this year.
Yeah.
And then, because we had been saving for the Verta project, we felt like we could fund it straight out of the street fund, starting in the 26-27 fiscal year.
And what formalized that, so that we know we've got at least $100,000 a year to move that forward? That's the first time that program's been funded in
Yes.
ever. So where's that formalized so that continues to happen?
Yeah, well, ultimately, it'll have to be in the budget document. But, you know, it'll come out of the street fund, and that is.
But if it's formalized in the budget, that's just one budget.
Mhm. Yeah,
I would want it formalized somewhere by resolution perhaps.
we could do the program, maybe by resolution.
Great, let's do that.
We can't bind any future ones, they would all be subject to budgeting, but yeah.
Right. Okay, great, can we do that?
I think it's a great idea.
Let's do that. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So what we'll get is, this is coming online, the funding is one aspect, and then the structure, that program is the other, and so we've had conversation back and forth. Is this going to need a work session with the final, or are you gonna be bringing back a program for adoption?
We already have the work session for, that went through the, required, program requirements. So our thought was to bring you back a finished program ready for adoption.
Great.
Okay. Sounds good. So this is coming to a city council,
By when?
This year, well, it'll be before the budget adoption, because we want to have it up and ready to go
Before May.
July 1, so, yep.
So you're anticipating adoption by May.
Okay, so Whittle Lake Settlement Agreement Options Review. So we've hit this at a number of different angles. We started from a staff level. I know me speaking with my counterpart in Salem, and then Attorney Lindsay talking with the legal staff in Salem, and we didn't think we were getting anywhere, and so you know, some of our at least one of our city councilmen, maybe multiple of you, talked with council persons on Salem. And that did not go unnoticed. They actually initiated a review of that program and shared a brief memo with us. Which I believe I shared with the council maybe a couple of months ago. And that memo said basically that any reduction in what they considered the odor area would be highly cost prohibitive in the order of magnitude of $20 to $100 million based on how far out you wanted to go from the plant, the sewer plant there. So that's kind of where we're at. We have to attack it from multiple angles, and Salem spent some money looking into it too. So we need to have a discussion on if we want to continue to pursue that, or if that's a discussion that we feel like we've got to come to that end on.
So I've got two questions. One, the study that this was, and actually you answered right here, this is specific to changing it from ag industrial, which I think it is now, all the way to residential. Could somebody kindly resend that memo to me? I could probably dig into my email and find it.
I would like to be kindly resent them.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that would be, I'm getting in all of the above. So would you to kindly resend that to us?
Mm-hmm.
And is it posted anywhere on our website?
No.
What do you think about that? So people can understand where this is coming from with our, other planning documents? Would that be acceptable? Yes, no?
Yeah,
Mr. Lindsay?
Well, the study was done for it by Salem.
Mhm.
In itself is a public document because it was created as business and was released to us. I guess the safer bet would be to, I guess, double check and see if they said that to us outside of their agreement with their consultant, but I can't imagine that their consultant would, because it belongs to Salem. So it should be public, but if you would allow us to just double check, and be sure about any sort of agreement that they have. So I'll put it on the public facing website.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Information is helpful for everybody in the community, especially the properties around there. So while operating from the right, same data. Councilor Parsons?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this question might be for Adam. When was this study conducted? Jane, do you even know when the study was conducted?
it was in 2025, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last year, I don't remember the dates on it. I know that after conversation was being had, I was contacted by Sam's staff. And so then I asked them, oh, you had actual consultant work looking at the possibility of, and the one clarification I would make is that it wasn't a zoning specific letter, it was simply to look at that settlement agreement has a boundary that's a certain size, and so it was specifically looking at what if the boundary was reduced? And I think there was 2 tiers in the document, if I remember right. By reducing it X amount, they needed these kind of improvements to the plant, reducing it greater, you'd have to do greater improvements to the plant, which was the big range of lots of money. So the idea of single family homes is a kind of a separate element altogether, you know, a comp plan zone change, there'd be processes to go through for that, so. But I do believe it was in 2025 that the move was done and looked at.
Mhm.
And I believe that the numbers were catastrophic. They were 93 million and 100 million.
That's what I remember.
So it was very cost prohibitive. And a part of this, I think, has to do with people who drive this more are people out there who might try to do certain types of development, and then it will raise the question again. So. If one of those, people out there wants to develop, and they most certainly have to provide it on all of our owners. Because it requires concurrence from Marion County, Salem, us, and,
Okay.
hold on.
So everybody has, I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Tim, Fast Sleuth on the internet found it. We're on our, it was actually, their report was given to them on October 25th, October of 2024. So, and then we shared it with council in August this past year. So, but Tim's gonna send that out right up to you right now.
Okay. Some light reading, and I think that as we've looked at options in and around, and this is inside our urban growth boundary to understand what options are inside our UGB, I think really lend themselves to comprehensive conversations around the lands that we have. So this will be helpful to have that information. And it also helps inform property owners to know what they're up against or what their opportunities are. And I think it's only fair that all the property owners have that information as well.
Yeah, and I do appreciate Salem. We thought maybe it was going on deaf ears, but they did spend some time and money on looking into it, so we appreciate that.
Got it? Yep, there it is. Yeah. Okay. Well, August 25th, now I know where to go back to my email and look. Thank you very much, thanks for finding that. And thanks for following up to make sure we can get that out into the community, especially the property owners, so they know what's going on. All right.
Yeah, I guess there was a little bit of a delay in that, like Shade said, like, oh, you did look at it. And so they had done it, but not circled back with us on it, so. Traffic congestion is kind of a non-specific goal. It was kind of we want you to look at traffic congestion in everything we're doing. So that continues to be an ongoing part of favorite.
There specifics that the council president started, there was anticipated about questions. Go ahead. Nope.
We are on.
I think we are. Are there specifics you would like to make sure that we add as bullet points to this that we would like to see by the end of the year? Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes. I know I ask this frequently, I'm sorry, but I think that I'd like to see, something within Kaiser Station, with all that new development coming forward. Can be, I think, difficult at best to navigate, getting in and out of there. So I'd like to go ahead.
I'm laughing.
In and out.
Yes.
Oh, you like that? Yeah.
Yes.
We caught we.
Disagree.
It took me 10 years to get out.
True story. But I would like to understand what we're doing, in terms of specifics on, specifically in Kaiser Station around the traffic congestion. And not just within Kaiser Station, but also, Lock Haven and Shamawa and in that vicinity, because it just gets so clogged up. So that's one I'd like to see. Number two, I'd like to see some options or some discussion around River Road. I have a significant concern, I think is a mild way to put it, about what is going to happen to congestion on River Road. I play a game every day called How Long Is It Going to Take Shaney to Get Out of Subdivision to get on River Road? And it typically is a while because there's no stoplights or any kind of traffic control for the longest period of time on when you're headed north, really north or south, right on River Road from, I want to say, what is right there at Wheatland. Yeah, so, and then if there's, what I expect to be additional development coming along River Road, we have got to do something, and whatever it is, but Ms. Blaylock, you will hear me say on a regular basis, I don't trust what the traffic studies say because they're not the ones driving it every day, right? They can put a counter out there and say, well, the formulas tell us this, but that's not real life, right? Those are projections. And so those are really my three areas, the River Road through Kaiser, River Road going, north and south of Wheatland out that way. And then Kaiser Station and the area around Kaiser Station. I'm just, call me the canary in the mine shaft, but we have a problem that we're not addressing.
Councilor Christopher.
So do I understand you say, not just traffic on River Road, but an additional, like exploring additional north-south arterials? Because you're right, Canary, we've got 237 apartments coming in that Island Road development if that moves forward. And that's gonna create, what did I tell you, 1,422 additional trips on River Road right now?
But again, that's assuming a certain number of cars.
You're right.
In it, and.
But it's right there at Wheatland.
I
It's gotta be a nightmare.
So there's two things I want to make sure that we covered here. So there are some specifics. A couple of these will be covered in the transportation system plan, at least in part. What I'm hearing is attention to this, because these are short term, this year, as we're looking at developments that are coming in with this in mind, but also this probably would swing over into the long range under the TSB. Would that
This
Makes
one's
sense.
worth it forever.
Yeah, this one, I think it's gonna go in both.
Yes.
Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I would think you, Madam Mayor, yes, I think there's both some short term, I don't even know if I would call them solutions, I think I would call them Band-Aids, and then the long term. Cause I worry about how long the transportation plan is gonna take to have them addressed, right? So what are we doing in the meantime? Cause it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
And I don't know that it's a problem that can be fixed in 12 months or 24 months. It's decades in the creating, right?
Yeah.
But a plan can be started.
Yes.
Yes, and,
You're right, decades in the making because we didn't think about it. Or we, whatever the reason is decades ago, but we have to start doing something now, and I don't know that. That's why I said I don't think it's a solution, I think there are Band-Aids as we work towards a solution, but we have to do something. I see kids running across River Road. It's like watching a real life version of the Atari game Frogger. And it's scary. And we've got to do something about it.
You'll also see pieces of that come back. For instance, when those properties develop, they'll have to update studies, make sure they're, especially if they're doing something different that's in the master plan, or if it's a plan unit development. So we'll see pieces come back, and then for transportation systems plan, I don't know that we've declared a focus, but often you can direct that TSP to have a certain focus on it. So that also may be something worth considering. In terms of this year, though, what we'll have individual studies or updates done with these plans, but what are you thinking about seeing in terms of a deliverable?
or this year.
Can we look at specifically like in Kaiser Station? Can we look at like the traffic signal flow and the timing? There's areas where they're just off, I think they're off.
Yeah,
Specifically, I know where I'm coming from and I know where I'm going. I'm not painting the roads, but it's the one that loops around to, like you're coming out of Kaiser Station and it loops around by the
Kaiser Station.
7-Eleven.
You
That's a nightmare. Sometimes it's backed up to before, McDonald's, going back the other way, waiting to get out.
yeah, that's a 3 I know.
I know. I understand that it's on the back end, but I think that there are things that we can do on the stoplights because they're off.
So what I'm hearing is a look at the light timing, especially around Ulali and on the River Road. To ask for information on River Road options from Wheatland to the city limits. If there is any indication that we need anything else, a traffic study and so forth, looking at either, what are the triggers for signalization or for pedestrian activated crossings? Mr. Lawyer,
Madam Mayor,
you're welcome.
in terms of the Kaiser Station and the signal from Ulali on the Shimano, the right turns over dual rights. That's very problematic because it also has to consider the ODOT signal on the overpass. And so certainly can have Salem staff look at the timing, okay? The Salem staff does the timing for ODOT and for us, okay? But there's real limitations on what can be done because of the overpass. So just, I want you to understand that dynamic of how that timing works.
The trees are blocking, like I think there's a mirror or something up there, so you can see. There was something up there, it's not a mirror, but you go around the corner. It's blocking, the trees are blocking, so you can't see the stoplights. So you're right there and almost in an accident. So there's just lots of things I think we can do.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure you all understand the dynamic of the overpass.
Sure.
They're all moved together.
But I don't want that to be a no, why we can't do anything.
No, I understand, we could certainly have it all looked at and make some, maybe have some, make some adjustments and make some improvement to the track.
You're not pleased to get it next to.
So those feel like the short term. And then, River Road in general, that's gonna be covered in our TSP, so I think this one is going to swing into, long range. Along with the River Road options, going again, specific on the, access to neighborhoods between Wheatland and the city limits. So that one's gonna hit both, I believe, is that a fair assessment of your?
I think so. I can take my patient help for a while.
Okay. All right, anything else on this one? Okay,
And the last one, is part of the, one of the long-term goals that we haven't talked about, because some of them on the short term are also long-term goals, so. But the economic opportunities analysis, the COG made an application last year, for it, but it wasn't funded. And I think we're in the, we'll have to wait for the next biennium to apply for funding. I was looking at the, grant portal, to see when it would be open, so they're closed for this biennium, but. And I don't, with all the housing capacity analysis and strategy, all these things link together, and so. I don't think that's something that'll happen. It is part of our long-term goals, so we're. That's not something that's happened this year, but next year, October around timeframe, I believe is when the portal will open back up for applying for grants for that.
any questions on that? I'm gonna, Councilor Kohler, any questions or comments on the last couple of items?
Well, I think finding some kind of solution to the north-south corridor is something we've been talking about for a long time. There are some different options that we can explore, and we probably need to be doing some of that.
Okay,
Okay, so that is your review of this cohort's short-term goals. Right in the middle of that 2-year cohort. So with that, we'll move into the strategic plan.
just here,
And with that, the council set up a work group, which was a public body and was open to the public for each of those meetings, and with the purpose of continuing the work of the strategic planning. And you appointed Councilor Christopher as chair of that committee, and so I'll yield to her.
Thank you, Adam. So, Counselor Duran, Counselor Starr, and I were the work group along with Adam Brown and city staff. And what we did was take the strategic plan that did not have council support and massage it to a point where we thought it would get council support. And so what you have before you is the recommendation from the work group, the 3 of us, it was unanimous. This is the recommended strategic plan from the 3 of us. So you know you've got at least support of 3. In addition to that, Adam, of course, did all of the heavy lifting on this. It has been reformatted and structured, so you get to the meat of it right up front. You get to the proposed modernization of the mission statement. It doesn't take away from our original mission statement that established us as a city 43 years ago. But it does modernize it and bring into the mission statement additional language that we felt was appropriate. In addition to that, we had input from Mo Abershon. And that's what you'll see in the appendices that are following that. And that was benchmarking, although some of this is probably pretty old now. So before we publish this, some of the appendices would have to be updated because we've been working on this, what, 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but you'll at least see what the benchmarking said and what he thought a SWOT analysis was appropriate. And we selected the cities that are comparables to us, so you'll see that as well. And so with that, I think that Mr. Brown should lead us through.
Thank you. Brown.
And so we'll follow the same path as the work group. Approved it. This is a 5-year plan, so 2026 through 2030. This includes really thousands of comments. After it kind of stalled out in at the end of 2024 or 2023.
Adam?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Should we not talk about the mission statement first and city councilors?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's still in front of us.
Okay.
We sent the draft one to, or I say you, the city council sent the draft to every city committee, board and commission. So that took probably 6 or 7 months of feedback. So a lot more comments as a result of that. And internally, we talk about this as staff as the vision to performance spiral. You set the vision and the goals, and then we create work plans to make that happen. So one thing I want to assure you is this is not a plan that will sit on the shelf and collect dust. We have systems built in to our organization to where it's regularly reviewed. We've had this space on our agenda format, our agenda report called Strategic Impact. It's in place. We'll look at everything through that lens. And we, as a executive leadership team, review this plan once a month in our fourth meeting, our second leadership team meeting. And then it would come back to you annually for a review of the progress, similar to what we did with the short-term goals, and also give you an opportunity to reprioritize, add to, and or take away from tasks. So that leads us to the city mission. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Brown, on that last slide, when you talked about it would be reviewed annually as part of the budget process, can you bring me up to speed about how you see that fitting into like what we're doing now, right? Like our short-term, long-term that we do every other year, and then the checking in this meeting, the checking in and the update. Like when you say part of the budget process, are you talking about us doing that in January like we do now? Because these are the 5-year goals. So just what do you envision?
So it's not in the plan that's on your desk, but because it just would probably create a lot of noise. But we have basically a scorecard that we could publish online that shows the timing of which ones you're going to tackle first. And so when we adopt this, we'll want to take our first hit at, okay, here's some of them are underway. So those are kind of the easy ones, but we want to prioritize in that 5-year plan when we're going to hit that. And then when we come to you to review the progress and review those goals, that's our time to say that this one needs to bump up, or this one needs to be bumped back, or this one can be funded this year, and this one needs to wait till next year to fund it. So that's part of the process.
So thank you for that. That will keep us in alignment with the charter.
Yes, and because the charter says, that you have those 2-year goals.
Okay.
So as a follow-up on that, so fold this into our long range plan task force process where we're getting this information. The long range plan task force gives us the overview, its financial position, so forth. And in that, we embed the conversation about our goals. Is that where you see this dovetailing?
Yeah, I've always considered a three-part budget prep before we start putting together a budget. The first part is saying, are the goals right? And talking about it with you, are the goals right? Which ones should be focusing on this year? And then the second part, which is where we've used this long range planning task force, is how much money do we have to work with? Our expenses and our revenues. And then the third part is then setting a target with the priorities and the money. Here's the target. And then our team goes to work, puts together a budget so that we're bringing something to you with your direction, not something we think is right and hoping that it's your direction.
Council Christopher.
Thank you. I forgot to mention, so tonight when we go through this, like, Councilor Cross was concerned, this could take all night if we try to wordsmith this. And Adam, I think you did a great job. I reread it again today. And if there's something that any of us are grammatically opposed to, or that we feel we forgot that we need to add, then I think that's actually what we want to do, and not try to wordsmith what Adam has placed before us. Thank you.
Mission statement.
So the mission statement, did you want to say anything about that? Councilor Christopher, before?
Only that, the idea of this, I call it a mashup. In an effort to be young and hip. And we did not want to lose the one that was proposed by the consultant in the original draft of the strategic plan. Our original mission statement was completely gone, and the original mission statement was what this town was founded on. And so we felt, the three of us, that it was important that it be part of a modernized mission statement. And it was actually Councilor Duran's idea, why don't we just combine them? Why don't we mash them together, retain our history, but also modernize the language? So that's what you have.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice compromise, and it's a tribute to the past, but a vision towards the future. So, any comments on the mission statement before we move on?
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is public safety. So the first one is, really fresh on our minds, as we'll be meeting Wednesday night for the public safety task force. But first task is develop a long-term staffing and funding plan for the police department. Seeking community input and approval. So, the big thing I just labeled this the decision of the year. It's just so important. And it's a moment we've seen coming, but kind of dreading too at some time. But we will work with you to figure that plan together. The second was complete the camera installation on the streets and parks for the city's camera priority installation plan. So we did put out a pretty robust system to start with, and we're incrementally adding just a few more parks. I think maybe half a dozen parks at least to hit, and so it's been a huge return on investment in terms of success for police department, and if the chief wants to take an opportunity to say how effective that is, certainly welcome his comments.
Well, I will tell you, thank you very much. It's been a long time in the running, but we're up and running with all of our different things, the cameras, the installation project, to go down the license plate, we jump ahead a little bit. They're a phenomenal resource for the police department in achieving some investigative results. And I have so many specific examples. I could be here till 9 and then everybody would leave. But they are, I'll just tell you, it has advanced us in investigative time and resources in a way that would not be possible. And the other part of this, I know it's on there a little bit, it's part of this whole camera system that you guys are probably dying to know about is the body cameras. We are currently reviewing the policy for the body cam. We have them, we're ready to deploy them. We're working with the association on a model, on a policy that they agree to, that we agree to. So this kind of is now the last little bit of things that we're trying to deal with. So, you know, we're working through that. It's not a contentious type thing. It's just like making sure we have everything included that we can possibly think about. So, what's that? Well, now that we have wonderful attorneys in the room, no, I'm just kidding. No, it just has to go through, I think we're probably weeks away. I mean, the policy, we have a couple renditions, versions going back and forth. It's really just, it's not even like a negotiation, it's just really settling on the language. So we were months out, we want it to be January 1, clearly that's not. But we do have all of our hardware, we have software, we have kind of the process we're gonna use for evidentiary purposes, cloud-based, the DA's office is on board. Now it's really just fine tuning the language, and I think we're really close. We're really close. Really.
That's business time.
Can we at least by February, because like,
That's Sunday.
okay, no, at the end of February, but thank you. Because it was February of 2022 that, and I know exactly where we were sitting in Starbucks. When we first talked about that camera project and the use of our phone.
I do too, before the remodel at Starbucks.
Yeah, before the remodel,
Yes,
yeah.
and, yeah, I think okay, I'm not gonna guarantee it, but yes.
That would be 4 years, that's awesome, thank you, that's so fun.
Yeah, I think that since there's no financial impact, it's something that, I could do in the MOU, and then it would just be rolled into the contract. So it's something we can do in-house, so the time is on our side.
Awesome.
You own that, Shane, good job.
Okay, so the other goal is to finish that emergency operations plan through emergency planning committee, and Counselor Starr is your city council representative for that. And continuity of operations plan, we have actually worked on the continuity of operations plan over the last year. Also, that so one of the goals is to, over the 5-year period, collect or conduct 4 city tabletop exercises for emergency management with Marion County. We could do ones with them, which myself and Lynn Bremer, our assistant for emergency management, have done some tabletop exercise. I believe some of others on our ELT have participated in them too, but Marion County's also said they would write exercises for us to do here. We've been over there and participated, and it's really great. They just do it really well, as well as I've been at. It's in 4 cities and 3 counties. They do it well. So learning a lot from them, but at some point we got to learn to fly on our own.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the goal, is to be able to have some tabletop exercises here in City Hall. Then the last one on there, on this page, is the LPR, the license plate reader data, public safety data sharing with Marion County and the city of Salem. And that's been a great partnership. Again, this is another example where we could go on and on, but it's so, it almost seems like weak when we call off the chase, where we decide we're not going to follow somebody. With these LPRs, it just nearly always ends up within 24 hours. We've got them working with Salem, Marion County, or vice versa, them with us. And we don't have to put people in danger. And we safely apprehend folks. So amazing tool. One thing, of worry is in other places, is that there was some type of barrier between sharing with the federal. Ours is internal and protected between these municipalities in the agreement. So that it's not something we have to worry about, that other communities are experiencing, I think down in maybe Springfield and Gene. They already had to shut theirs down, but we have, some barricades for that. Okay, page 2 of public safety. Is to work with individuals experiencing homelessness to mitigate the impacts of and as of visibility of individuals. When you, Councilor Starr, were saying you see kids playing the Frogger game, I was thinking in my mind I've seen adults play the Frogger game too, and many times they're under the influence. But we want to reduce that, and the measure for that is the point in time count, otherwise known as the PIT count done each January. Typically, we have a very low point in time count of between, I'd say, 7 to 10 individuals. So,
There's a question on the point in time count, that's biennial, so,
Ours says annual.
right, it is biennial.
okay, that needs to be correct.
It's not, it was not done this month, the decision was made at the Mid-Atlantic Valley Homeless Alliance, and sorry, I may be able to speak to this better than I can. That, since it's only required on a biennial basis, and there wasn't the funding to do a count this year, that we're gonna go with the numbers, do a thorough count again next, January 27th.
So will it be biennial?
It's biennial, it has been, because that is the, that's how it's structured on the federal level for the type of funding that we receive for programs.
So we'll have to change that.
No,
Oh. I thought.
there was one that was done in between, but it is not required unless we do it individually ourselves. It is, but the Homeless Alliance has a continuum of care. They decided that this year, since it was not required, that they did not do it. They went, we had an option from the chief.
That's correct. Yeah, we used to do them early on. I mean, it's been years ago. We did them annually and then now it's been.
There's software, there's all sorts of methodologies and metrics to be sure that the numbers that we're getting continue to get better, but it is still, it is a point in time. So it is problematic in terms of its accuracy for the number of people who are unsheltered. Some of our other surveys that we do locally with our service providers and also with different numbers and different metrics for the school district give us different numbers for the different populations. So point in time is nice, one nice data point, but it is not comprehensive. And I think we have better data now through HMIS, the Homeless Management Information System.
Yeah, I think it's important that we're following the best practices, that we know the individuals that were on the streets that are without shelter, and we're regularly having contact with them, trying to attach them, get them to services. Okay, the next one is the depth in the incident command system. We have all the people at the dais here, the staff trained in the incident command system. We have a significant number of people also in, especially Public Works and Police Department, the ICS, but we have not worked together in Emergency Operations Center. So that's our goal, is to get that depth in the ICS, because if we have an event that lasts more than a 12-hour shift, we'll have to have some turnover in the Operations Center. So any additions to the public safety?
Public safety. Going once, Councilor Kohler, anything on public safety?
Got it.
Got it. Transportation, infrastructure.
Okay, so for our first one is something we already talked about, the transportation system plan. And that we wanted to include plans for the sidewalk infill and crosswalks. The second task would be to continue the annual maintenance plan for residential streets. And I think I saw that when I was creating this and I didn't delete it. I have that in there twice.
Which one?
The continue the annual maintenance plan for residential street and then maintenance plan for residential streets. So the second one we can just. Delete, yes. Okay, continue implementation of the River Cherry Overlay District. Prepare a report to explore the alternative north-south routes to identify solutions to traffic congestion on River Road in coordination with Mass Transit. Again, something we've touched on tonight, and maybe that's something that we would target to the front of this 5-year plan based on the conversations tonight.
Yes.
Well, yes, I think this is really going to fit into the TSP because we gotta look at the whole system. I remember this conversation when we did the last TSP and it was done in conjunction. Right, okay.
This is,
Okay.
this is, sorry,
Yeah, go
it
ahead.
says complete update of the transportation system plan under priority, so that's, yeah, that will, that, to me, the way this reads, that's gonna drive. Right, as an overarching priority, that's drive much of this.
I would agree. I just wanna make sure there's not an expectation we're gonna do them separately. These absolutely integrating. Can't be one without the other.
Yeah.
We can just talk about that. All right. We'll keep going.
All right, the next page of the transportation infrastructure is to develop a plan to connect parks, trails, and neighborhoods to each other. Several ideas out there is the Desert Rapids Park to Salem Riverfront, trails between parks. One we've talked about that is probably in closest reach is the Claggett Creek Trail. Since we have a lot of the first segment of that done from Dearborn to Shamawa. And then we are still working on that property acquisition from on the north side of Shamawa. We had approved that acquisition, but had run into some barriers with the purchase, but we would gain a large segment of the wetlands on the north side of Shamawa Road, which would allow us ultimately to connect to where Mark is. So it's a project that's with funding would be a relatively low hanging fruit if we can complete the acquisition of this piece.
What's the problem with it?
Do you want to explain that, Mr. Lindsay?
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you. So, you know, when you get a title report and there's liens on a property, you have to make objections to liens. One of the, actually two of the liens are reverse mortgages. And we don't want to accept property that has a reverse mortgage on it. So we have to get the bank, and there's been a whole process of trying to get the bank to acquiesce and release on our side. And so it's the bank's time. So that's what.
I feel better about that.
But literally, if we were able to acquire that piece, there would, gosh, I mean, like a 10 to 15 foot segment that would connect with other property that is buildable all the way up to where we're. So I mean,
Great.
the only thing in our way is money.
It's all great, you're telling me Greenville Park is coming along.
I know, I was just thinking about that. That's one of the first things that Council Walsh brought to me when I came to city council was, look at this opportunity. So sometimes you just have to be patient.
Those connected trails just
Yes.
Must be right.
Mhm.
hugely enhance the livability of communities. People just love this. The things you did over on Gubser, the under the bridge, what's the road over to Kaiser Station? Pepper Lane, so popular up down where Councilor Starr lives that connects a couple of neighborhoods there together, even the bridge from Gubser to so Country, yeah.
That's all.
Love it. Okay,
So that second one there is the implement the sidewalk gap and repair program and establish an annual minimum budget of $100,000. Exploring alternative funding options, including special levy. Within that 5-year time period, exploring option. Prepare a report on burnout streetlights and create a replacement plan. That was something that came in kind of late to discussion, but was mentioned by somebody. I can't remember who this was that.
number of people
Oh, that is-
about being able
Yes.
to report streetlights.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we want to.
Can I jump back up?
Mhm.
Exploring alternative funding options, including a special levy. I'm wondering about the call out for a special levy. Do we want to say options? I mean, that'd be my, I don't know why that's there.
that level of specificity you mean? I'm okay with moving.
Can we strike that because I don't want to presume conclusion? But I like that it's exploring
I
funding
think it was
options.
like, I think what we had talked about was like up to an employee.
But your famous stuff too.
Do you want that in there or
I
strike
said
it?
that multiple times, but
I don't think it matters,
actually it doesn't matter.
so.
I'd be really comfortable striking that, just the alternative funding options. Leave it a very open
We're okay with that.
conversation.
We're okay with that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're not cheap.
We're not streetlights, Mr. Lawyer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We currently have a link on our website to report streetlights outages. Streetlights that are out, they go to either Salem Electric or PGE. I'll bet if we ask them, they've got all the data. They are responsible, one of the two power companies. For all the streetlights in Kaiser, except for Kaiser Station. The city's responsible. I'm gonna keep it short, because we couldn't find streetlights that we liked for Kaiser Station that met PGE standards. So we had to do our own system
Oh, we wanted
to
to
get
do.
the kind of exact. Now, guess what? They're on PG, that we do, but now they're on part of PG standards. It's
Silly.
It's too late. We formed this, the type of district, the type of lighting district. And we have it, so, but every other streetlight in Kaiser is maintained by either Salem Electric or PG.
Are you taking notes, Carrie? This guy's got, you gotta know.
So we already have, like this, what I'm hearing is that we already have a way to report, and the replacement plan is not something that we do, because I remember when we passed the program that turned over the maintenance to Sun Electric and BGE. So is it Sun Electric does Sun Electric, or does this PGE cover all of them? I'm looking at our Sun Electric expert.
We cover our customers, our members all, we replace.
Okay, so Sun Electric takes care of Sun Electric, PG takes care of PGE, and we have it already on the website. Does this need to be on here?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think it would be beyond.
I think we need to strike this. Go ahead, Council President Starr.
Maybe we just read and we talk about improving our, like our communication or our education and outreach to our, community and residents about how to do that.
That doesn't even speak.
Well, really, communication,
Well,
and a strategic plan,
I don't think.
outreach.
Why don't we put a placeholder on that one for right now on, how to improve the performance?
Yeah,
For reporting and education. I don't disagree, because a lot of people don't know to go look for that. So let's make sure that this happens faster.
and we just need to do a better job.
Well, I learned something tonight too about that, so yeah, we can improve on educating and communicating with our citizens.
Okay,
That's
let's change that. I want to have a plan for something we already do. Okay. Okay, because we have two things, we have two on there, Midway Street Light Outage and a camper here, so we're striking both of those, and then the comms and education on that. Yes, got it. All right, simple. All right,
All right,
I just went to the website and when I when I put in the search tab for report streetlight, the only one, let me just make sure, that came up was Salem Electric. Oh, now it came up.
For either one?
I had to, when I did report, it came up immediately, Salem Electric. I had to report, or I had to search for the full price, so it's there.
All right.
Okay.
Good. All right, let's go on to, are we ready to go to 3? Councilor Kohler, any questions on transportation?
Nope.
All right,
And maybe that's something that we could schedule 3 times a year or something, 4 times a year. A social media blast on that. Yeah,
especially in the winter months, because that's when we're going to notice it.
Yeah.
As school starts and it starts getting darker in the evening, so people can easily report it. This summer, I don't know about y'all, but I hardly notice it because it's not dark till like midnight. 10 o'clock, yeah. But as we start getting to school starting, I think that would be a great way to do it, so I will leave it to,
Actually, right before school starts.
yeah. Once it starts to get darker and then through the winter months, so there's my micromanagement.
we're still replace the light on my garage. It's out.
Then we have the stuff that comes out, you know, what when we change the clocks, check this, check that, so, from the fire district. So this opportunity going, check your smoke alarms, you know, yeah, right, Counselor.
Yeah, that's kind of the one.
So, top it at the same time.
Okay,
Report your local street line, okay.
on to the economic and community development. Cool, all right, so the comprehensive economic development strategy is something that we need to work together. That's really just compiling a list of potential projects. Example that last year, 2 years ago, I think we talked about, we made a special ask for some design money for the Verta Lane between Dearborn and Shamawa, no sidewalk. I know Council Starks talked about the pedestrian crossings there, and there's no receiving sidewalk, so the SEDS, which is the acronym for Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, are important because when you're pursuing federal money, because they're considered the regionalism planning, and they're looking for that coordination across communities. So the COG has a comprehensive economic development strategy, and projects can be just, we can update Kaiser's projects through an annex in their plan without them having to adopt a whole new plan.
Yeah, just so folks know, Council President Starr just pointed out that the comprehensive economic development strategy should capitalize it as a term. And just so folks know that this is managed and taken care of through the COG, the Midland Valley Council of Governments. So McCray Carmichael is the development director as well as the current interim director, but this is something that her team manages. And we submit ours along with all the other regional partners for the ultimate for that document.
The second one is to seek funding to complete the economic opportunities analysis. Again, something we touched on tonight in the short-term goals, or the long-term goals. The 5-year, third one is 5-year review of the event center business and identify future business potential. Identify visitor patterns to enhance the visitor experience using Travel Salem's AI. They have a program called Pacer AI that is they've given us at least 2 opportunities each year. So we can use that. You want to take advantage of that.
I've forgotten, do you have to go through them to get that, or can you access that and get us a report?
We have to go through them. I know I've sat through like 6 demos on Pacer AI over the last 10 years. It's a great tool. Fortunately, Travel Salem has said you can use it under our license at least twice a year. They don't want to be inundated with every city in the area asking to use it, but So very strategically, we can pick locations that we want to hear about.
When do we want that for budget?
So just to, here's an idea of what we can do for you. The baseball fields, for instance, when I did a demo of it, which is a good reason to do a demo, because they'll say pick an area and they'll run it for you. And so they say on this Saturday and Sunday, 40% of your traffic came from In-N-Out Burger. 30% of them went to Chick-fil-A afterwards. 40% went to Marshalls, and yeah, it gives you this metadata
Okay.
from credit cards and phones and all the ways that
Feel that.
you-
So if I got a point, it's almost like a point in time.
it is. So you want to use a strategic, like, would we want to use it for Kaiser Fest to see?
For the parade.
We did it,
Where-
we did it for the,
How much money?
we did it for the holiday night parade.
Oh, you did.
So yeah. So it's a great tool. If you have ideas of like, hey, I want to use it for this event, then let us know, because we'll want to be strategic about those opportunities. Again, if the chamber's done one for Kaiser Fest, we don't want to be with money.
So if we coordinate with the chamber, what the chamber's doing, that we can select around, especially around our sports fields and so forth. So looking forward to staff making recommendation. And if we've got ideas or know about events that might not be covered by a validated source, then that might be the ones to turn in. So data, it's not make sure that's well.
Okay, update the Parks Master Plan to incorporate enhancements to Kaiser Rapids Park. That's one hopefully we'll be able to check off this year. And provide a recommendation from staff to the city council on whether to implement an urban renewal district. Going on to page 2, create and adopt a 5-year plan on how to use transient lodging tax funds for economic development or really any purpose of the council desires. The second one, explore feasibility of expanding development uses within the urban growth boundary that is currently restricted by the Willow Lake Settlement Agreement. Third one, sell city-owned properties in Kaiser to pay down our public employee retirement system debt.
Can we make that specific, because we have 2 different debts that we were talking about, can we be specific to our UAL, the unfunded actuarial liability? Is that acceptable?
Why?
Specifically, because we also have that other one that had to do with that one repayment, but this is the one that our finance department identified as having the longer and the bigger payoff for stabilizing our general fund with
So-
specific to the UAL.
Unfunded accrued actuarial liability. So instead of debt, I think that probably is a good edit there, the UAAL.
Because UAL is not a debt, it is a obligation, but it's not something that we took out a loan for, per se.
And the reality is they ended up folding much of that into the UAL. And that's why our cost to fund that was much lower than we expected. We'll see it in the UAL on the next evaluation.
But the only reason we need to even deal with this is the unfunded actuarial liability. That's the one that keeps hitting the general fund so hard, and so that's what we've talked about in making sure that we are doing the side account with the benefit from the state that reduces our liability. Council President Scott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is probably, this question will be like a needle in a haystack question, I think, for Mr. Wood. But kind of to build on Mayor Cart's question about specifying the UAL. is there ever, and this is a 5-year plan, right? And I know we're gonna do annual checks on it, but what are the odds that, I just worry,
Yes, go.
yeah, and yes.
Yes.
Yes. And is there ever gonna be any kind of, what's the possibility of having any kind of like law change or? I just worry about getting so narrow in here by specifying UAL, but I know what you're saying, that is the biggest. Is there any benefit to leaving it generic? I guess is my question, my really long-winded question that.
No, I think that's right on.
You gotta think about.
Well, I'm not aware of any rule changes that would have any impacts on the terminology moving forward. There is some benefit leaving it somewhat generic in case council decides to change their mind on something.
I just don't think it hurts anything to keep it generic. It's not, we have to go that specific. We know what we're gonna do. We know we're gonna take out and do it.
And it's gonna come to us at budget every year, right? So we can direct it to.
Once we establish the program with PERS, it's pretty much locked in place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a one-time opportunity. So yeah, we'll go through the budget process at some point, whether that's the budget committee or through a supplemental budget.
So. Yes, and it's not a debt, it's a liability, which I know is a bit of a nuance. But I really think that one of the things we talked about with this land to be able to create the set aside is longer term stabilization of our general fund. And that's why I think that being more precise is a help for us and also communicate to the community that no, we didn't take out a loan, that this isn't a debt, this is a liability that's been imposed upon us because of state policy.
Change the word from debt to liability.
I'm good.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, done. Any disagreement there?
No.
All right. Liability. Okay, I like it,
Okay.
you know,
That's not fair for me.
okay.
Okay, and then prepare recommendation and develop an implementation plan for middle housing. Ensuring diverse housing options within Kaiser's urban growth boundary while aligning with community needs and zoning regulation.
Okay.
Rotate and add new public art to River Road. And then the last one is adopt the Kaiser Public Arts Commission Master Plan. Get back master.
I love this one. This is my favorite one. So great. I like all of these.
Shocker.
I like all of these nine and below, like all of these things in this bill.
Can we, I appreciate that, and is the rotation in addition to public art part of the, master plan? Done.
They hadn't yet. They may.
Because that would seem to be part of the master plan to public art. Okay, because we might be able to combine these, as part of master plan, so if we put pin in that one to come back to see if these would fold in. Anything else on economic and community development? Okay.
Okay, operational excellence in community.
Laura Fuller, anything on, economic and community development?
Thank you for asking, Madam Mayor. No.
All right.
Actually, I really like the way the work group renamed this goal. Operational excellence and community centered service.
Me too.
So as part of that, we'll complete an internal assessment to evaluate our organizational efficiency and cost saving measures. Implement a process improvement program and recommendations from the internal assessment. Conduct technology audit and needs analysis to determine most effective cost efficient use of the city's use of software and technology. It's something we actually look at each year. Tim just sent that up to us a couple weeks ago for us to review. Creighton Asset Management, oh, let's see, did I skip one? Yes, develop succession plans for all mission critical senior staff positions. I'll tell you that one was centered across
Yes, it
the
was.
dais for me, so.
Yeah. You're the 600 little.
And then, create an asset management plan for all city property with a value of over $5,000.
The number of 5,000 feels small. Are we, picking nits, or is that based on staff recommendation?
It was staff recommendation.
So whatever we want.
I don't want to hamper you guys in counting paper clips.
Well, contrary to some governmental reports, our paper clips are not 5,000. No, but,
Well, why did you pick 5,000? That's what I'm thinking.
I thought, and this may be from 20 years ago, but I think that was one of the gas fuel requirements.
Yes, at which level does an asset have to be reported, and when you get rid of it, have
That's
to
it.
go to surplus? Is that what?
That's it.
Bingo!
That's it. Yes,
Found it. And the 5,000 is to be part of it?
yeah, that's it. That's it. Then you have to report it. That's it. On it.
All right. Councilor Cross.
I just want to say great job to recount their position on that, you're in super, because I think it's important that we have a real estate portfolio. We should. I would say, no.
Well, I would agree, and actually over the last couple of years, this firm has found, assets that we didn't know we had. I remember a particular property that was like, oh, by the way, did you know that we own this? I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Okay. So we solved that mystery, update the water master plan. Sorry, no, go on.
No, that's good. That's where we're at. Update the water master plan.
I'm excited, we're almost done. Go. We're getting there.
The second one on that page is determine a policy for water sewer storm capital. Specifically continue as a pay-as-you-go or a debt financing model. That's something only recently we have discussed. We have been a pay-as-you-go financing for capital stuff, capital projects. But we probably want to have an intentional discussion about a policy of whether we want to do debt financing or continue pay-as-you-go projects. That's the.
Well, I agree we should have a policy. I'm just wondering about talking about debt.
We've been lucky, we haven't had, at the time they come in the future.
Okay, Councilor Christopher Goss.
I just say, the time they come in the future, we've been very lucky. But we're a baby city, we're only 43 years old. But the time may come when debt financing is going to be is going to have to happen for some capital expense in the city. There should be a policy set for it. So that's what this is speaking to. What do you want the policy to be? We're certainly not saying, let's talk about how we can go into debt. We're talking.
Okay, I'm reading now.
Yeah, what we're talking about is, let's set a policy for if an emergency happens when the time comes when debt would have to be incurred, what's the policies about? Correct, sir?
Correct, and an example of that is the Claggett Creek project that's
Yes.
underway.
Right there.
That was kind of the first departure from as a pay-as-you-go to debt,
Interfund borrowing.
so.
It's not there from borrowing, so this is debt versus interfund.
That was so
Well,
cool.
Well, it's interfund borrowing, but it could have been.
There's no interfund borrowing either. Well, that's part of it, it's storm fund. It's storm fund, pay money for the company.
The Dearborn.
There's no debt. financing involved.
Oh.
Debt financing involved with the Dearborn Bridge.
That's my sidebar here with Mr. Wood, we just get to that, the Dearborn Bridge is the one. I should say.
So it's been, and then that was completed a long time ago, so, I think it's. Can we tell us that, because by putting changing to a, tells the community we're actually considering that. Can
Well,
we
it's-
look at discuss the policy regarding pay-as-you-go and debt financing models. That is the discussion, that's not a goal. I would like to be able to discuss the options. I agree with Council Christopher, discuss the options so we understand it. But I don't want to communicate to the community that we are looking to change to a debt financing model and put ourselves in debt. Would that be okay, change that language to conversational rather than sounding to me like that's a goal? To go into debt? Not one of my goals.
The intent was,
It says to
To
have a
have-
policy.
yeah,
For
or,
water, sewer, storm cap, we could change that to capital projects. Determine policy for capital projects.
Regarding
What about evaluating instead of continuing?
evaluating
That's
as you
good,
go,
that's good.
comma,
That's
changing,
good.
or evaluating pay as you go, comma, debt financing, comma, other options.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, did you get that? How did it record?
it'll be recorded.
All right, I feel much better about that as option.
Then evaluating, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that was the intent, is that since those discussions started and we talked about it potentially for this project, storm project in west side of Kaiser, that is at some point, we talked about it failing, but we don't know what point, and so the reason that came up is we thought we should be intentional about, okay, we've always been pay as you go, when and if and where should we use debt financing at all?
I think those changes.
Yeah, but then, yeah, it's gonna be a conversation. So that the community can breathe, we're not about to go out and take out their credit card.
Okay, complete research and a recommendation for utility discount program for residents under CPP. Hopefully we will get that done this year. And the last one, continue water main replacements as defined by the water master plan.
We're pretty sensitive.
Yeah, because it's not us here. He's still gonna need water too.
Yeah, I always do. I'm just not wrong.
Okay,
Wherever it was.
next to last goal, fostering an engaged community. Develop and implement a citywide communication plans. Utilize and test innovative engagement tools to receive community feedback,
That's like the Polko that we're talking about.
right? Yeah. Complete the website redesign. It is probably 98% done. We're
No.
just cleaning it up.
So can we add to that for ongoing,
Enhancements?
yeah. Because we have such an amazing team, I don't want to add work to our staff, but rather than the large leaps to check in on whatever basis is helpful. Now we go for staff recommendation on this, to look at our website. And because you're going to make notes during the year going, I'd like to fix this, I'd like to fix that. So do that on an incremental basis rather than giant leaps. So I don't know how you put that in 2 words or less.
Continuous improvement.
That.
Continued website enhancement.
Continuous enhancement. Okay.
Okay. Okay, conduct 4 town hall listening sessions annually to educate, inform, and listen to the community on important community topics.
Most presidents talk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Minimum.
Minimum of 4?
Yeah. Because you read that, it's like, oh, you can only do 4.
Yeah,
So that would be
okay.
minimum.
And then I've got a question. In goal 6, we also talk about for town hall, are these in place in addition to? This is in 2 places, we do
This
each,
was specifically on urban growth boundaries, the 2.
Right. but can the specific ones? I mean, can these be specific, or are these in addition to, what was your intent here, because it's a lot of work?
The intent was for a year of which in this, 2 of them would be UGB. So it's a good add that she says a minimum of 4, since we're already taking away half of those to talk about the urban growth boundary.
Well, you're taking the other half away because right below that on goal 6, you have 2 on the housing summit. So,
I think Housing Summit is combined with UGB.
okay, so don't say that, but.
That's the one I think is the combination.
Yeah, I think those were different.
Really?
Yeah, because that second one was the kind of complexity, so.
Then we've got to do something because we used our 4.
That's why I said minimum.
So,
And there are a lot of work, and we're asking people to get together for very specific and important issues that are identified in goal 6. So I'd like to leave it to talking about the purpose of them. You know, get together just to get together is one thing, but I think we've got to have a reason that people would come.
Oh, we always do.
Yeah, because when we're talking about like the urban growth boundary, housing, transportation, we're going to be doing town halls that are topical. So what I'm hearing is we're gonna do additional ones on non-specific.
Oh, perfect. So Madam Mayor, if I may ask a clarifying question. So if this is a 5-year strategic plan, and I'm jumping ahead to goal 6, you're asking, right? So if this is a 5-year, the way I read this task is it's complete 2 town halls and online survey of urban growth boundary options. So to me, that is over the life of the 5-year plan, not within a year.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, good one.
That was specific.
And same with the town halls on that housing summit. Although we say it's 2 dedicated town hall listening sessions in 2026. So, but the urban growth boundary, I read over the life of the 5-year plan. Not so much on that housing summit, but I think we can address that by inserting the word.
You're totally right. That's it.
Okay. So obligating our, and this is partly on the staff, partly on, there's a staff cost involved with these on, so I think we've got to be cognizant of that. And we're also asking the community to engage in these listening sessions. And I like the idea of bringing people together for those conversations. And what I have found is I'm more likely to show up for something if I know what we're going to talk about. Come on down and have a chat, it's usually not going to.
Well, I think the intent was we would, we left it open so that if there's an issue, like a pressing issue at the moment,
We don't have to identify.
you know,
Next.
we may not know what the issue is next year. So we just left it as, at least my recollection is we left it kind of vague to allow for the council and staff to have the freedom to recommend a town hall if, but we don't really know what that issue is at the moment, right? It might be something different next year.
So if we want to consider the goal 6 town halls, that would cover both of these at the same time. It wouldn't be the 4+.
We didn't say that, but.
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify. Counselor Duran?
So I have a question, so if we're not counting goal 6, you know, we've already done the town halls and we're past through the goals. Maybe those are done, say, on the things in a while. Or the listening sessions for the housing summit. Is minimum of 4 or something. I mean, that seems like a lot, if we don't have these specific.
We don't have topics.
We don't have these specific topics, so that's why, you know, as you were saying that.
So, well, or if we say something like, I just think if you do a minimum of 4, you can use those, but it's.
Yeah, I just was thinking 4 sounds like a lot for, you know, not these specific. Already looking at coming up on.
That's kind of like Counselor Cross, you have some language to
Oh,
suggest.
Sorry, Katie, I was thinking out loud. I was thinking, but then came up. Yeah, the president. Sorry, I think some kind of verbiage, can get town hall with me fit sessions as council sees fit, you know. Because it could be where we have a year of super hot topics and then.
Have
then you're-
six.
Yeah.
And then we only have one. As long as we have a minimum before, for the 5-year plan, that would be saying.
So this is all four annually in the task. That's my concern.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. what you're saying.
Madam Mayor, Council, if we took that and listened to the community on city council appointed topics or city council designated topics, would that do them?
I just want us to continue the engagement in the listening sessions with the community.
Identify topics, I like that.
So conduct town, if let me check out this suggestion, conduct town hall listening sessions to educate, inform, and listen to the community on important community topics.
And scratch 4,
I would like to take the number out because I think it's, really,
Maybe this might.
no, yes, me, if I be 8, it might be 2, but I think it's giving the council and community the opportunity to say, we need to get together and talk about this.
Yep.
But to say, we're gonna get together and talk about, and talk,
Yeah. That's great.
okay, thank you.
Okay, and the next one is implement a biannual community survey, which we are
processing, yeah.
in the process. Develop a training program for volunteers, going above and beyond the one that was done, I think, right before I got here. Identify policy for translation and interpretation services and create a policy for how and when the city contracts for the services.
So I'd like to go back to a conversation that we had, I think it was, in the fall, about, translation and interpretation services and add in or look at the use of technology, AI technology. Now I'm looking at the OWL. At our Zoom, we have so many opportunities that people can listen, watch on screen here, at home, on devices that automatically translate and interpret. So can I add something in there? It's not so much a policy, but options, because I think our OWL is really going to open up that. And has already provided opportunity to meet those needs in ways that we never would have imagined in the past.
So don't you think identify a policy for translation and interpretation, part of that identification of policy is we're going to use AI, we're going to use. I think that's part of the policy development, I think.
Ms. Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we are actively engaged in looking at, particularly in terms of cost saving measures. We ran
That's
some
engaging.
data on the amount that we're paying for translation services now and how many views we got. And to know that for you I think that's important for you to know if we're spending $40,000 a year for 12 viewers.
Yeah, and that's consistent.
And when these emerging technologies are out there that would be able to automatically translate to 100 languages versus just one. So that's, I think, what this was kind of a staff-driven goal to maximize our money.
So you've done that with your employees at the Salem Convention Center and so forth. Our technologies are opening up to opportunities, so instead of practice, I would like to, instead of policy for how and when, to utilize technology to expand our accessibility. That's cost effective. But more than cost effective, it's inclusive. It's going to provide for people in ways we haven't been able to.
Let's end it after identify policy for translation and interpretation services
And technology,
using
And explore.
using technology. Utilizing, that's good.
utilizing,
Technology and end it.
okay.
That leaves it wide open.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Utilizing technology for accessibility.
Okay,
Because it emphasizes, the
Yeah.
whole point of doing this is that we are becoming more accessible.
Yeah.
And we can do it in a way that our technology, I mean, I feel like it's the universal translator of Star Trek.
Okay, so it says, identify policy for translation and interpretation services utilizing technology for accessibility. Perfect. Yeah.
Everybody feel okay with that?
Sure.
Mr. Brown,
I feel fine.
or Mr. Lindsay, do you see any problems with that?
I do not.
Shoot, no, sit.
Okay.
All right,
Yes.
moving. Well done. Well done.
I'm nervous, I'm nervous.
Complete housing capacity analysis.
Talk about that.
We just talked about the next two ones, the survey and growth boundary and the town halls on housing.
We've already done those.
The urban growth boundary ones, yeah, all that's left for that one is to feedback to come back.
The next one is giving it in 2026.
Okay, so, but the second one, we've done it. So,
Yeah.
and we knew this was an issue with the strategic plan, that it was already a function. So is there a next, yes, it's complete, and so how do we want to identify the next step?
So the in the hopper is to report to city council the findings and then for you to discuss next steps.
So complete report to council on town halls and online survey on urban growth boundary options.
Okay, there we go. And I did my next steps.
Good.
Okay.
And then down next to last, develop a public works facility plan. That's something again we have ready to go. We had to bump a couple times. But I think we have that scheduled. And then conduct a public utilities analysis.
And for folks listening, because I had to listen to this, can you explain the difference between the two, because they sound like the same thing?
So public works facility plan is looking at our physical plant. We have some public works here. We have shop there behind the fire department, there's a fire department or fire district, I should say. And we also have a building behind that building. And so we acquired the what's known as the Utah property, or the property just south of City Hall. And we've done some at the direction of council, we said, see if this works. So the possibility of co-locating all our staff here. Also, we have something to think about with there's one more house that's kind of right in the middle of our campus here at some time, being opportunistic like we were with the Utah property for the parks system. So that's a facility plan. What's that? I don't think, I don't know what we do. And then a public utilities analysis would be looking at looking at our rates.
Yeah.
Talking about water, sewer, storm.
Right.
And
So this would be the second one, to conduct a public utilities, is this a rate study? Is that what you're talking about? Or is it more than that?
I think it's a little more than that. I think this is more of a global look at
like a systems analysis.
needs into the future and maybe a rate model, maybe not a rate stay.
But a comprehensive.
Yeah, kind of like a systems analysis of each one of those things.
So rate models that would ensure that we've got, I mean, we talked about in terms of our water system, but looking comprehensively at our public utilities that the city provides on what that rate model is going to continue to provide for us for.
This is the rate, this is the system.
Is it the systems or is it the money? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I think it's everything.
That's why if you did comprehensive analysis.
I would say that's based on city.
Yeah.
Rainwater, stormwater.
Yeah,
Sanitary
city.
sewer, city, sanitary sewer as much as we can affect. Changes,
Yeah,
okay,
so we should change public to city. City utilities.
I mean,
I think so too.
our public utility is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Sam Electric would like us to do the rate study for them. I think, yeah, yes, from the audience. Okay, and it wouldn't make sense for us to do that. So help me understand, Mr. Lawyer. So conduct a city utilities analysis. You're talking about capacity as well as rate structure?
Not so much capacities, that's what covered in the master plans.
Okay.
We're just looking at the analysis of what the needs and need flows are. And what that might look like in rates as you look, 10 years down the road. For instance, earlier discussion about pay as you go for finance, okay, that's gonna affect rates. One way or the other. So that could be part of that analysis. Well, a recommendation out of that analysis that says, for a project of, I'm gonna throw this out there, $10 million, okay? If that really makes sense to finance, you don't wanna do that, great. But a project of $9 million, you should do great. That kind of analysis.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you want to do long range city utilities forecasting. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I got from the discussion when that topic came up. It was kind of an open comment. There weren't a lot of details behind it. But that's what I thought about made sense from the discussion.
So can we change the word analysis to forecasting? So, because what I'm getting from what you're describing is that we are trying to do some more global looks into the future rather than operating, the master plan is operating the system we know with the, with what we already know in our comp plan. Well, what I'm getting from this is forecasting, would that be accurate, or did I miss something? I'm getting.
Yeah, forecasting doesn't.
I think it's analysis and.
I do too.
I'm stuck with just forecasting myself. That doesn't seem to cap.
I agree.
Right.
Analysis and forecasting, then that gets everything.
But I think it communicates to the reader from the community that we're trying to take a longer look. With this being a strategic plan, doing something more global or more high level, actually sets up our financial position and our infrastructure position to be able to take that longer look. So does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, this is my favorite slide. Return for adoption to.
I
City Council.
I think we're good.
Go ahead, you and I. Yeah.
So on appendix 2, Mr. Brown, under recreation, there's 2 words, community planning and public works with nothing under them.
Yeah, so we put a placeholder there because we didn't really talk about that in the analysis and we wondered, well, should we speak to that? Yeah, so that's why it's there. It's there as a placeholder.
Okay, connected. Is that the intent on the other page too?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and it could be that those aren't. There's no worry about those right now. They're going fine, so we don't need to do anything, but.
It's kind of weird to list them with one page.
Yeah, so either we would kind of add some to that, or we just take them out.
I think you need to add something.
Okay.
Well, and I've got questions on all the appendices. This looks like it was an ad after the consultant did their work. And I've got questions on the comps. And I've got questions on some of the things listed that we don't prove. And it left out some of our collaboration where we do such as safety and security. It's collaboration with City of Salem, Marion County 1, and Country Fire, for example.
Which appendix are you on?
And that's to say, for example,
Under safety and security?
yeah,
Okay.
so there's not just Country Fire District, but we have 2 fire districts, for example. It mentions education, but doesn't mention Chemeketa, which is huge for our community. It mentions recreation. Yeah, that seems to, I think that got corrected. There was some, we don't support recreational programs for youth and adults outside the city. So I'm wondering, you know, under recreation, it says the city supports recreational programs for youth and adults, including organized sports. We only provide facilities. So I'm confused about that. And then
So
I
that's the wording, that's just.
right,
Because, okay,
so, I have those questions in appendix 2 and 3. And, a benchmarking, I had a lot of questions on because it doesn't make sense to do benchmarking with Redmond, which has a very different structure than we do. We have an airport for crying out loud.
they do.
So I had a lot of questions on those, and then SWOT analysis, I really want to spend some more time on, and we don't have time tonight. So can we pull these appendices for additional work? Because A, there are blanks, and B,
And,
I'm not sure I understand some of them.
and they are, they're 6 months old at least.
Can we pull them? The one I agree that we need to have acknowledgements. That makes sense to talk about who's done the work, and that, I'm okay with that. But, 2, 3, and 4, I think are gonna need additional work. If we want to do some addendums as we get into the work, then we can add those on later on.
I love that.
Okay, so for recommendation council, 2, 3, and 4, we pulled for additional conversation, maybe in the update. In 6 months or a year. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Counselor Kohler. Questions, comments?
I think that, this is like a lot of meetings I've absorbed as much as a seat can endure. And, we've covered a lot of things and a lot of good things have happened. So no other comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Final comments. First of all, I want to say thank you to the task force, Councilor Christopher, Council President Starr, Councilor Duran, our city staff, Mr. Brown, and our entire ELT team. And I really appreciate that not just our ELT, but every single city employee has been involved in this process and has had a hand on this. And I think that that is remarkable because a lot of cities don't take the time to do that. So I want to give a huge thank you to all of our city employees for their input because they're the ones doing the work. Anything else for the good of the order, Mr. Brown?
I'm just gonna say I'll pass that on.
Thank you to everybody from the community who also participated in all of the conversations. And this is a living document. It will continue to evolve and change as we learn more and move forward into our plans. I'd like to thank everybody for their good work tonight. The time is 8:03. I adjourn. Yeah.